All these shoes, it's a constant parade of shoes. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Where are we? Here we are. The paper is out. Thank you very much. One of the papers was for me this morning, so yes, I remembered to do it. I took out the paper for Dei-chan and Sugi-san. There was a big message up there from Ishikawa-san that said, don't forget your job today. And she had a big message for me. Boru-san, title irete kudasai. So that's what I'm doing today. It is that warm. It is. Actually, it's not warm, but it's not cold. It's just whatever. It's a little tiny bit chilly here, but it's okay. It's enough. It's enough. It's enough. All right, what we're doing, I'll just do a bit of it and then explain what's going on here. This is the completed, is Jed here today, I wonder? This is the completed April print of this year's series. It looks really nice. I'm very, very happy with it. If we get it under a light here, people are going to be very, very pleased with it. It's got beautiful, beautiful depth. Some parts of this are printed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So some parts of this get printed 6 times here. And what we're doing is we're putting on the name. And the reason I'm the one that gets stuck with this job this morning is, hang on a second, let me see if I get it lined up here. Not the name, the print title. As usual, we're using a polymer plate. You can't see it there. I can't see what I'm doing. Doesn't show up. We need light. We need light. We need light. Where is it? We'll get going. We'll find it later. When Cameron gets here, we'll have him hold one of them onto the light, whatever. We're putting on the name in an embossing. The reason I'm stuck doing it is because either I forgot or Cameron forgot or everybody forgot. We didn't get the polymer plate made that had the name for this month's print on it. We did the first 3, 1, 2, 3, a couple of months back. And then we forgot to get the polymer plate ready for the next 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the printers had their prints done the other day. They put their name on with the usual embossing. And then they came to me for the plate for the name, and we didn't have it. And this was late last week. So the two of them, Ishikawa-san and Suga-san, they finished their prints, left them in the freezer until the polymer plate was ready. And it came Monday afternoon. Suga-san did hers, but Ishikawa-san's gone for the next few days. She won't be around. So she said, Dave, take care of it for me, because we have no choice. These are the prints that will be mailed out on April the 1st. We're on deadline here, right on deadline. So this is my first job today. We have carving to do, and we have a very, very, very nice show and tell today. We got some cool stuff arrived from Yahoo Auction yesterday while I was away. Very, very nice show and tell. Can we zoom in more so maybe we can see this? Yeah, you can see it. Right, there it is. Bingo. There we have it. There's the name of the print going in embossing. Already over on the other side of the print, the girls did their own. It says, as usual, with many of our prints, it says Horiburu. Hori means carving, Boru is my name, and then here's Suri, and this one's Ishikawa Yoko. Quality goes in before the names go on. So this year's series, this is the second one that I've carved. I did number 1 and number 4, and our young carver Chon-san is doing the rest so far. We'll see how the schedule goes. If he can keep on top of it by himself, he'll go right to the end by himself. If he gets a little bit behind schedule, then I'll jump in and do another one of them, like I did with this one. He carved number 5. It's upstairs in the printer's room being printed right now as we speak. And he's working on number 6. His hand wasn't injured, just he was having trouble with, he had some kind of swelling in his carving hand. And he did eventually, we talked about this, he wasn't going to go and see a doctor, I'm okay. But eventually we did all convince him to go and see a doctor. He's got insurance, it wasn't a money problem. And the doctor said, get a little heater, get a desk heater or something, because you're working in too much of a cold environment with your muscles tensed up. So that was what the doc said. I don't know if I buy that myself, because the years I worked in Ome as a carver for 15 years, that was below freezing, the workroom down there, so half the year it was below freezing for me. If I left my coffee cup half full, when I get in the morning it's just a solid block. So I don't know that idea about too cold, I don't know, but anyway, that was the diagnosis. So we have a story about this. (8:07:55) on time, on schedule. We have a story about that, but wait till Cameron gets here, because it's just too much fun. Yesterday we were closed. Cameron's going to hit the ground running when he gets here today. It's going to be nuts. We have print parties. I think 4 people in the first party, 4 people in the second party, 5 people in the third party, and a request for a 4th party at 4 o'clock, which I haven't replied to yet. And then I get an email when I get up this morning from Audrey-san. It's supposed to be Audrey-san and Shiba-san today, and she booked off sick. So it's just me and Shiba-san today. Just me and Shiba-san today. So Cameron, there's no way. He can't book upstairs. So as soon as he gets here, I'll be telling him, that's it, guy. You're on shop duty today. Cameron doesn't do parties, but he can handle the shop and dealing with the people and writing the tax forms and stuff like that. So it's me and Shiba-san will be running the place today. It's going to be fun in capital letters, quotations, fun. But Cameron's also he's feeling pretty proud of himself. He's probably looked at the emails this morning already. And those of you who follow our Facebook feed know that yesterday the shop was closed. He was catching up with some work upstairs that we were putting off for a long time. We've got a bunch of the Yoshida family prints here that we didn't have in the online catalog. And actually there's a whole bunch more. The Yoshida family has a bunch more prints that haven't been publicly available for quite a long time. And it seems like, and we've been chatting with them about this, and over the next week or so there might be a lot more Yoshida prints coming online that haven't been around for quite a long time. Anyway, long story short, he got a couple of them yesterday. He scanned them or took some pictures or something and put them on the web. The prints that have been too big, we haven't been able to scan them because they were too large, so we just postponed. But he set up his camera or something yesterday, took a bunch of pictures, put them on the net, and they're all gone. They're all gone. Sorry this is not so interesting technically this morning. I've got carving to do if I get through this or when I get through this. Shouldn't be too bad. I think she's got 60 copies here. What am I doing? One every minute or so. Not one a minute faster. So when I get through this, we'll switch to carving. So we'll see some actual carving work this morning as well. So for those of you who are new here, just hang on a bit. Half an hour from now, we'll be doing real carving work. Yes, the Yoshida prints. Well, yes and no. I know the Yoshida prints, that one Cameron posted about yesterday, has a great amount of gomazuri, the textured printing. Goma is sesame, gomazuri. They call it sesame seed printing. It's not just that. I know the Yoshida print that he posted about, the background does have goma. It was a flat block, and they put lots of water and paste on and printed it either perhaps with a sponge rubbing on the back instead of a baron, or they used a very flat baron very softly. There's many ways to do this to get the right texture. To make smooth color for us, we do tight, smooth printing that puts a smooth texture to it. When you don't do it tight and hard, you get texture. But also some of their blocks are textured. I haven't seen the block set for that print, so I can't give you chapter and verse on this. That background color could just be done with baron technique, or it could be done with a block that's also been, the surface has been roughed up. And the only way to tell from that is to look at more than one copy of the print. When you're looking at two copies side by side, if the texture is all random and the dots don't match, then you know that it was done with a loose baron technique. If the dots match up from print to print to print, then you know that the texture is actually on the block because it's being reproduced from each print. And it could be a combination of both. It could be a pattern on the block could be roughed up with sandpaper or nails or whatever. And it could be also printed with a loose baron technique. But that's your first point of checking to see how it was done. Look at more than one copy. What's the conversation here? Not much. Good. We have a nice little show and tell today. It's one of those ones, we've talked about this before, where the person who was selling the item had no clue what it was. They didn't describe it well. They didn't even describe it as mokuhanga, as a woodblock print. So all the usual characters who come in and bid against me, whatever, for these items, they weren't there. So it was just me. The person who did the auction started it at a low price and nobody else bid, so we got it for a steal. It's 4 little prints, not little actually. You'll see, whatever. We'll do that, whatever. When, at usual time, around 9 o'clock, we'll do our show and tell. This is a nice printer. I don't know if you can feel it, but it just has such a nice, the richness of this thing. Like I said, some of these parts are printed. There's actually printing here in the light part. The only white paper is the actual light itself. This is printed 1 level, then 2 levels, 3 levels, 4 levels, 5 levels, 6 and 7, and then the gradation at the 8 in the corner. And if you were, some of you guys were around here when I was carving this, it was a month ago or so, whatever. I thought there was the way that Jed did the Photoshop was okay, but it turned out not to be so. The same block for this part of the shrine was the block that gave the tree trunk color. And it turned out that if we did like this, light, 1, 2, 3, 4, it was so light that the tree trunks weren't visible because that had been covered by 5 and 6. So you couldn't see the trees. So we went back to the original sketch, pulled out some information, and we carved an extra block. You saw me do it on the stream, I think, one day. Some of you might have been here. So we carved an extra block to give some body to the tree trunks. And looking at it now, I think maybe that should have been printed a bit darker. It's a bit too much similar to the red, and tree trunks should have been a bit darker and gloomier. And maybe when we do this again in the future, we'll put a bit more dark purple on the tree trunks, because they're a bit too light. They could have even maybe been done really dark, the same color as the people here, to leave the blossoms light and the tree trunks dark and gloomy. There's an infinite number of variations and you're never finished. You can always look at it when you're done and see, oops, that could have been done differently. It's literally an infinite, never-ending process. What is this plate made of? This, again, it's a polymer plate. This is a piece of plastic. This is not part of our normal traditional woodblock printing, carve everything on the wood. The plate here, I'll show it in a second. Hang on. Just to be reasonable about this, we don't carve these out of wood. Can I get it there? Is it going to focus? There it is. It's what's called a polymer plate, in Japanese a jushiban. We just send an EPS file over to a company and they create it for us. It's in reverse, of course. It's up about, whatever, 0.5 millimeter. And somebody says, I can see you put tape to protect the kanji. I'm not really sure. Tape to protect the kanji? I'm not sure what you mean. It's on... Here, I've got another one here. Here's what they're like. It's a piece of plastic. That's the back side. You're looking at the back side now. It's a flat piece of plastic. And on the front side, the lettering is raised. The lettering is raised about, whatever, a 1/16 of an inch or around 0.5 millimeter or something. And it's in reverse. So it's the same as a carved block. And we put this down and we rub the paper on top of it. They're not made for woodblock print because they're made for printing companies. In the old days, it was metal type. Remember, people got bits of metal type laid out in the names. This way you have this, you roll your ink on top of it, you print it in the printing press. Bam, 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 bam. They're plates that are made for printing. These days, everything is offset, but now and again, they need something when they're making name cards or something like that. You need letterpress work, and this is the modern version of letterpress. And we don't use it for our print making. We use it for putting the names on. The street cam, yeah, the policy maybe is going to be set. What we've done with this small second camera, third camera, is at the moment it's pointing outside from a distance. Not much of a street view there, I'm sorry, just through the open shutter door. And when Cameron gets here, that'll become the camera that shows he and I chatting. But on weekends, on Saturday and Sunday, when Cameron is not here, what we are going to be doing, as you saw last weekend, is I will move that camera outside so we get a full street view. And we'll be doing that on weekends, I think. Weekends for me, Saturday and Sunday, which means for most of you guys, Friday and Saturday. So we'll have a true street view on the weekends. At least until such time as somebody tells me to stop it, because there's an issue of privacy, I guess. I don't. Did you see what he did with the water? This is a custom that's growing here. When your dog pees, you don't just leave it. You can't clean it up, but what you do is you just take a token squirt with a water bottle, and what are you doing? Just diluting it, I guess. So people carry two things. They carry a plastic bag, so when the dog poops, you pick it up inside the plastic bag with your hand in, your hand around the outside of it, and when they pee, you squirt. Just that what the kid is singing? The kid is singing the Don Quixote theme song. Maybe they've just come from the Don Quixote store, I don't know. I'm so glad we're not a bit closer to the Don Quixote store, because I can't imagine. They're blasting the theme song all the time, and I can't imagine listening to that. It's 24 hours a day. They're open 24 hours. And if we were like across the street from them, it would just be insane. I'd go nuts. I'd get a shotgun or something. Go over there. How can anybody stand that, you know? And the employees, every minute of the time that they're in there, that theme song is going round and round and round. I guess you get to, so you don't hear it anymore, I suppose, but I can't imagine. Is that what we need at Mokohankan, a Mokohankan theme song on a 60-second loop that goes around and around? It's not even a 60-second loop, it's probably a 30-second loop over there. Or less. I can't sing it. It's not singable. It's funny, you know. I'm not gonna try. I can't sing it. It's not something I can easily replicate for you. It's an earworm for sure, but it's not really singable. It must be out there if you Google for it. Don Quixote Japan theme song or something. I don't know. I know we talked about the mic feed on the outside camera yesterday. I'm not actually able to do that technically at the moment. We're using a handy cam for that. The camera right now that's focused outside. And when I put the camera outside Saturday, Sunday, it's a handy cam. And we're feeding HDMI through into a video adapter into the computer. And I was concerned why there was no audio coming in, so I Googled up a little bit. And it turns out that when you have an HDMI cable coming from a handicap, if you've recorded video and you're playing it back through the HDMI cable, video and audio go through. But when you are recording or on standby, the audio signal doesn't come through the HDMI cable. If we were recording, it would be recorded. The audio and the video would be recorded, but only the video comes down the HDMI cable while you are recording, and it's to avoid feedback. So at the moment, the camera up there, the one that's focused on the outside, is giving me video, but it will not give me a simultaneous audio signal. So the audio you're hearing right now is from the microphone on my desk, which is picking up through the open door some of the ambient sounds outside. So the only way for me to get good audio from outside when I take the camera out is to run an extra microphone, an extra cable, and put that as an audio feed into the computer. We're past halfway now. We're way past halfway, about maybe 20 more, I'm not sure. Should we finish this in a minute? Then we'll switch to carving. Then when Cameron gets here, we'll do a bit of show and tell. So we should have a good varied stream today if you hang around. That's the 2 suitcase guy, right? What do you think? Is he homeless or something? Every day, same time, same station, 2 trolleys. We should get a photograph of it or something and try and... So many mysteries here. Shoe lady one way, the 2 trolley man the other way, 2 suitcase man the other way. Would a homeless guy really be that much of a rigorous schedule? 8:30 every day? Some guy going to work? Why would you go to work with 2 suitcases? You walk exactly the same way in the same street, everything. He doesn't seem like a homeless guy. A homeless guy would wander, would take time. This guy's going, dup, 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 dup. He's got a plan, he's got a mission. Who would go to work with 2 suitcases? What kind of job do you have to have? If you're one of those people who does a thing in the park, you do juggling in the park and all that stuff, you've got your setup and whatever, or busking, or there's no, he's going to Wayno Park, that's a half an hour away, he wouldn't go in from here. There's no big park nearby. Yeah, John Becker, so good. Yeah, suitcases full of gear. I mean, lots of jobs have suitcases full of gear. I get it. Your photography job and lights and stands and all that stuff. I get it. But every day, same time, same station. What's this all about? I don't know. If you remind me or something next time, I can jump out there and maybe take a look. You know, I was trying to be careful with the shoe lady, like not be stalking her and stuff. But I have no hesitation about trying to look at this guy and see what he's doing. You know? This is a tourist, obviously, this one. Yesterday, the shoe lady, I'll tell you, yesterday was fun. Somebody going up the stairs behind me. Suga-san, did she walk by? No, she comes from the other direction. She's working on JJ5, this series, as you can see, where we're shorthanding it, JJ, Japan Journey. This is JJ4. She's busy with the printing on JJ5. And they, when they did the test printing, again, they looked at me and said, Dave, is that the way this is going to go through the whole year? I had to say, no. And what she meant was the way that the colors are stacking. I told you on this one, we have layer 1, 2, 2 is on top of 1, 3 is on top of 2, 4 is on top of that, 5 is on top of that, 6 is on top of that. They go up and up and up and up. And that's difficult to print because the paper really does get beaten up. We have good strong paper and you can layer it very well, but it's really, really difficult. The moisture gets too much. And when you put the pigment on for like the 5th time or 6th time, it starts to behave quite differently because the paper is quite full. Anyway, she did it with this one, and then JJ5, which is the garden view, it's a stone lantern and greenery, and Jed has gone totally level 1 all the way to level 8, and there's parts of that print that are 8 colors stacked on top of each other. And Jed's thinking, wow, this gives us good depth, good depth, good depth. And it does, but oh my God, that paper really gets beaten up. And it really would be better, rather to go A plus B plus C plus D plus E. You do A, B, and then C, D, and then A plus E, and then B plus D, and stuff like that. You get more variety and more different depths of colors. And it's nowhere near as difficult to print, although it's much more difficult to plan. So when we've got that one done, number 5 is done, I'm going to sit down with the guy, we'll do a Skype call, and have a look at how it's worked. Because we've got 8 more prints, 7 more prints to go this year, and I don't want to follow the same pattern. Just doing the same color running up on top of each other. It's not the best way to do this. With 8 blocks, we can get a huge variety of color variations, a huge variety. When you think of mathematically all the different combinations. Okay, we're almost finished here, about 6 or 7 copies left. Stick with me here. I have to go, can I see the print please? I'm not sure what you're asking, this one we're doing right now. This is the 4th print in this year's Japan Journey series. It'll be published April 1st. It's being mailed to the collectors in a few days from now. I'm not sure when Cameron's been putting these on the website. I don't think he puts them up on the 1st of every month. I think he waits till about the 15th to give people a chance to receive their packages first before the print goes on the website. I'm not quite sure. I haven't been following that. In fact, I should ask him about that. Can you remind me when Cameron gets here to ask him about that? What's he been doing with the website with these prints? The paper is out. In fact, the paper is out. We are printing on it right now. This is paper that came out of the freezer this morning. So I remember today, I came out of my shower and there's 3 packages came out of the freezer. One for Dei-chan, one for Suga-san, and one for me. What do you got? 3 sheets left. Let's do this. Look at this, she's written actually the wrong month on this. This is the April print. And for some reason she's written May on this. Recipe for disaster there. Wouldn't that be great to find out that I've put the wrong one on the wrong name? This is Night Blossoms, there's no argument about that. But she's put May. Okay, there we go. That job is done. Excuse me a second here. Put that out of the way. Now this paper, the next step for this paper now is just to dry it off. And there's no way I have time to do that right now. So in fact, I'm going to ask Suga-san to do that job for me this afternoon. So for the moment, it goes back into the damp pack. This is damp newspaper. It was wrapped up tightly in the damp newspaper in the freezer last night. So that goes out of the way. And my next job this morning is going to be back to carving. We're picking up right where I left off on Monday. Trying to find all the episodes you hosted for Japanology. Can you tell me all the episodes we're in? None. I never hosted Japanology. That's Peter Barakan's program. That's not mine. I was one of the rotating hosts for Journeys in Japan. And I was a guest once on Japanology with Peter Barakan. And I don't have a list handy I can give you. It's just going to have to be Google, I guess. And I can't put those videos on my own YouTube channel because I don't own the rights to them. But NHK puts them up and down all the time. They're frequently on the NHK YouTube channel, except when they are planning a rebroadcast and something legal reasons. Whenever there's a rebroadcast going on, they have to take it off the YouTube channel. Then a certain weeks after the rebroadcast, and it goes back up on YouTube. So those programs are up and down all the time on YouTube. So I don't have any specifically easy link for you to find. I don't know if you are curious about it. The program I did was Journeys in Japan. There's 5 or 6 episodes. So if you just Google Journeys in Japan, NHK, my name, it should turn up with them. I went to Kinosaki Onsen, Yamanashi Prefecture, Shirakami-sanchi, Osaka, Tendo City to do the shogi. I don't remember all of them, I'm sorry. Do I have to worry about the newsprint? No, it doesn't transfer at all. Here in Japan, it doesn't. I can't verify for what you are in your hometown, your kind of newspaper, because I hear from Westerners that newspaper comes off easily. Here in Japan, it doesn't. They generally use a much higher quality of newsprint, and the reason for that really is because the kanji that you print in Japanese newspapers is much, much, much smaller than the ABC in the Western world. Okay. Carving. Let's do some carving. When Cameron gets here, let's do some show and tell some stories. Where's my knife? Excuse me, I'm bashing on me. Okay, for those of you who don't know what this is, are there still new ones here? Let's pop up for 1 minute here. Let's pop up the image. That's the Photoshop version of the finished print, the one that came from my friend John Amos in Georgia. I finished the other day on the stream carving the key block. You can see it matches generally what we're seeing in John's image. And after doing the key block, I prepared a number of color transfers, one of which we pasted down. This is the block that will be used for green. You can see in the background here, this matches the green you see over at the left and on the lily pads. And unusually for one of our prints, this is not going to overlay any color. We're keeping the green block just by itself. It's possible to print green with blue and something underneath it, but we've kept this isolated to give complete freedom to put a different tone of green in. How long have I left unfinished prints dampen in the freezer? I know the record for me I don't know exactly, it's about 4 years, but I don't remember exactly how long. It could be 4, 5, 6 years, I don't remember. When I was doing the Beauty of Four Seasons print, I got in real trouble in the schedule. We didn't have 200 subscribers, but I had the idea of making 200 prints. Oops, wrong one. So I made, when I was making Beauty of Four Seasons spring print, I made 200 copies, sent about 100 to subscribers. The summer print, I made about 100 first, finished carving, printed 100, and then I was getting late, so I started the autumn print and put the finished key block of 100 sheets in the freezer, thinking I'd print it later. If you've seen the videos, you know the autumn print was a disaster. It took 6 months to make it, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I started the next year's series. We never did get more subscribers for the Beauties of Four Seasons, so I just cut it off. And there in the freezer was 100 sheets of the key block printed for the summer print. And I just let it sit there. This was 2004, 2005, somewhere around there. And eventually, some years later, I needed room in the freezer, and I don't have any idea. It was 4 years at least. It might have been 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. I don't remember. I pulled it out and said, what are we going to do? This is all moldy. Let's throw it away, or let's take a look at it. I put it on top of my desk one morning and opened it up a couple of hours later, and it was beautiful. Not a speck of mold, not anything. I test printed a couple of sheets. Beautifully easy to print. So the record for me, anyway, is at least 4 years, and it could be more. And there were no problems whatsoever. I think mold can grow in a refrigerator, but I don't think mold is going to grow in a freezer compartment because it's just, it's locked in ice. So yeah, that's my scientific test. Not well documented, I'm sorry, but that's my test. Years and years and years. So yeah, 3 weeks should be no problem. Again, we're talking about freezing, not just in the fridge. In the fridge, anything gets moldy. You've seen that. You put food in the fridge and watch. A few weeks later, it's going to be moldy. Okay, now this is not microscope level work, and I do it just with the lens here. This is not microscope level work at all. But if I do it under here, we should be able to see that. Okay, I'll just try doing it under this. If I move around too much and wander, let me know. TED Talk. Don't talk to me about TED. Glasses. Whoosh. Oh, look who's here, coming down. Hello, hello, hello. Beautiful day today to show.
Beautiful, beautiful day.
Bike to the station?
Yeah, it's great. Trains were delayed. No step for you today, so you just have to wait. but I'm.
That's okay. I worked till midnight to make up for it.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Nice. Oh, which block number are you on?
Just the first one, first color block. So first, I've been doing embossing first. I had to do the embossing
right.
of the name on the fourth month's print.
That's
so.
right, that's right.
We're going to rotate this around with no problem. Look at this.
No problem.
Zoom, spin, around it goes, slap, bang, crash.
Alright. Made it.
All set, good. You can leave that on, leave it off as you wish, whatever. Or move this up. What have we been doing usually? Moving that up there?
I've usually just been turning up that
Okay.
one. Maybe.
I'm not sure where I should be. Today I'm not using the scope, so I'm wandering too much. So let me know if I get out of view. I did already. I started here, then I got to move down.
Oh, okay.
It might have disappeared. So that's the problem with the lens. It's a bigger field of view, so I tend to move around.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, congratulations on your job yesterday.
Oh, thank you.
Very nice. Thank you. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I'm
so,
surprised, but pleasantly so.
also, before I forget, you put more of them open, but you didn't have any pictures. I got a stream of error messages last night. The San Francisco
They didn't
print and a couple more.
Wait, they got opened?
They're in the catalog and they're marked as
they weren't
available.
supposed to be open.
Well, they were marked as
Oh, no.
available, and I
Oh,
got
no.
literally thousands this
no.
morning of accesses to the pages with no
Nuts.
images.
I thought they were all marked as pending.
Sorry, no. So
Okay.
I had to switch them to pending.
Thank
so.
you. Because I scanned them all but ran out of time to.
Yeah, well, they were marked as available. So.
Okay. Shucks. I'm sorry.
So that's your
That's-
bonus. That
yeah.
eliminates your bonus for the what you
Yeah.
did. What you did.
Ah,
well.
nuts.
So-
Oh well.
And before I forget, one more thing. I know it doesn't matter if I pick this publicly. You put up some extra images like 01, 02, 03 and stuff.
Right.
You don't need. I don't know.
All the different sizes?
You don't. There's irrelevant.
okay.
There's no mini and thumb for those.
Okay.
Just the basic
Normal and
JPG and large. Yeah.
Okay.
So
That makes sense.
I realized when I saw that you probably just didn't know, but they
Yeah.
aren't used at all.
Okay.
And then the other thing that happens
followed the
when
pattern
you
of the other ones.
when you do put a new item up using the software for the very first time, when you're doing an ad,
Yeah.
it takes the key image and it makes the mini and thumb for that
Okay.
one, but it puts the size of the mini and thumb into the database it's
Right.
used later on. So if you are adding something later on and you change
Manually.
the main image,
Yeah, I was editing.
Gotcha,
that,
gotcha,
yeah.
gotcha, okay.
So I got those ones. Ask about the shoe lady, I'm being told by everybody.
yeah.
What happened?
Okay, what do we got? What time we get some nice show and tell. The thing is that I've been sitting here embossing for the last 45 minutes. There's been no work.
Yeah.
Okay, the shoe lady. Okay, it's okay. She came by this morning, by the way, right on time, 8:07:55, came by, stomping her way down with her good old shoes. We've been a bit, the last few days, it's been a bit not clear when she is. She's come a couple. She comes 5 minutes before 8 sometimes, 8:07, and then 8:13 or whatever the next. And these are obviously Tsukuba Express trains. Anyway, whatever, I guess. There's a bit of a dicey story. I have to tell announcement. I talked about it. Whatever, yesterday we're closed. I
Right.
went to Ome yesterday.
Yeah.
And I knew I had to get my train, 8:33 train.
Yeah.
Asakusa Station. So I wasn't even thinking about anything. No stream, of course, nothing.
Yeah.
Packed my stuff up, looking at my watch. Okay, 8:05 or so.
Yeah.
I just leave the shop. I was in here. I get my backpack on. I took a bunch of stuff out there, all those prints that we had to be shipped.
right.
So whatever. I get out of here. I get all set, ready to go get my backpack, close the shutter. And as I'm closing the shutter,
Yeah.
I hear behind me,
Stop.
and I realize, oh crap, it's 8:07. And whatever. I got to get to the station. And
Yeah.
it's that way. So whatever, she comes right behind me, bang, 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 bang. And I finish closing the shutter and I start following her. And I am not following this lady. I am not following this lady. I am just going to go straight to the station. And she's like 10 meters in front of me. Bang, 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 bang. And away she goes. So I thought, Dave, you cannot do this. I really, really, really want to know like where she works, just because it's a thing, you know, but I cannot follow her. So from here to Osaka Station, Ginza Station, it's kind of a grid. So you go left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. So whatever. So she turns right at Orange Street, Orange Dory. I thought, okay, Dave. I sort of took a look at her, but no, I'll go straight. So I'll take a different route to get to Osaka Station. I was a good boy. I really tried to be a good boy. You know where the story's going. I go straight ahead. She goes right. Next corner, I got to go right because that's where we go to the station, of course. And you know what happens? She's coming in from the right side. And here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk a bit faster. I'm a guy. So I pass her and walk a bit faster. And we get to the Nakamise. You know, the road that goes up to, and I've got to go down here to go to the Ginza Line station. But okay, here's what I'll do. Nakamise is open, and then right behind there's a little alley.
Yeah.
There's a little tiny alley. Nobody walks down this alley.
Except for her.
So I turn right and go down there, and here I am behind me. Bang, 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 bang. She cuts down this little alley right behind me. And I'm thinking, is she like stalking me or what's going on here?
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening here.
And she's telling the same story. She tried to lose him, but she couldn't take him.
Don't. So we go past Kaminarimon right out to the front street.
Right.
I turn left, get ready to the station. I'm thinking, will she cross at the lights and go somewhere else? Right behind me. Bang, 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 bang. It's true. This is what's happening. I have got to go to the station.
Yeah.
So we get to the place where, Kannondori, the arcade there comes out.
Yeah.
And there's the entrance to the Ginza Line subway station. And what I've got to do at this point, I'm going to Ome for the day. And there's no food out there.
Right.
So before I get on the train, I've got to stop at the Family Mart there to grab my lunch.
Yeah.
So before going down the stairs, I stopped for a minute. I got to go but I got to see what's happening. So I just stood there for a moment, She comes behind me, bang, 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 and goes right down the stairs. She goes into the Ginza Line subway station. So she's not working around here. She's doing a transfer. She comes in Tsukuba Express, walks the 800 meters to the Ginza Line station, and then goes in there. And that's the end of the story, because I went into Family Mart, got my food, waited, slowly got my food till a couple of
Don't want to keep following this lady.
And then went into the Ginza Line station.
Yeah.
And there we go.
Oh, that's funny.
That's really curious. So we're then thinking, who would have that kind of a trip? Come in Tsukuba Express, like say the same train you come in.
Yeah.
Why would they need to? Because you can go to Akihabara, or you can go one more station on Tsukuba Express to Okachimachi, transfer to a subway directly.
Or even Kita Senju if she's going out that way. There are lots of other transfer points.
So why would you need to walk 800 meters? And she does it like rainy days, whatever.
Yeah, interesting. Just like the walk.
I don't know. I mean, I suppose she was going to Shibuya. You need the Ginza Line. There's better ways to get there.
Yeah.
There's lots of better ways to get there.
Interesting.
So the mystery is a different kind of mystery.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Get it over with. Introduce yourself, explain the stream's obsession with her, and wait for the police to arrive. According to Ken Howard.
Well, we've talked about this before. I have seen the lady walking by, and as we mentioned before, if I had felt she was kind of looked like a light-hearted, happy kind of person, I might do just exactly that. But she doesn't look like that kind of person.
She's a little stern.
She's very stern, very strict. You can tell from the footsteps, and I do not want to mess with this lady. So.
Got it.
So there it is. And anyway, it's out. So she's not in our community. She's not part of Asakusa. I don't really.
Interesting.
She just passes here every morning on her way from somewhere. She's probably your neighbor up in Tochigi somewhere.
Yeah.
Ibaraki.
Yeah. She's putting steps onto her Fitbit.
Well, it could be a good idea.
Yeah.
Keep,
Yeah.
as part of your morning commute, put yourself into a situation where you walk
Yeah.
10 minutes. That's not a bad idea, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But it was funny. I laughed inside when I turned right down that alley, and
Yeah.
she came down the alley behind me. I thought, wait a minute, wait a minute. She can't be going to the station. And bang, that's exactly what happened. She was going to the
that's funny.
station.
We also need to ask Cameron what he does with the subscription prints. What do I do with the subscription prints? Any idea what they're talking about there?
No, I asked him to remind you about something, but I forgot what it is. Subscription prints. Do I get a better hint than that?
Someone else said I'm a supervillain, so I take a pen and poke a very tiny mark on each print before sending them out. Is there a mark on some of the prints that I don't know about?
I don't know.
I never even see them,
About?
so-
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
There was something, I did ask them to remind me to ask you about something to do with the subscription prints. I was putting the, are they on the website? Scanning.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. I mean, the subscription, what's on the website? The first one
I think
did
the
a
first
few months
two
ago.
are scanned. So we need the third.
Third and
I thought we
fourth.
usually wait until
So I wasn't
end
sure,
of
but
March. Yeah.
if you're just handling this, and
Yeah.
anyway, I asked them to remind me to remind you. Are they okay? Whatever.
Yep. Yeah, we've got scans. So
So what do you do generally? Last year with the loot ones, you waited 1 month, didn't you? So that
right.
you
So
didn't
April
sort of
1st,
people-
we'd see marches.
Okay. So you're doing something similar this year? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll keep quiet then.
I think we left or put the first three up first as the Photoshop versions,
So where are you
and then
getting
have
the,
replaced the
Okay, where are you getting the prints though?
just borrowing them from Suga-san after she makes a batch.
Okay.
Take one, scan it, and give it back.
So I can keep quiet and forget about this. It is under time.
Yeah,
Okay,
they're
good.
Getting
Thank you.
done. Ohayou gozaimasu.
Oh, no, thank you.
Thank you. ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
Does that need explaining? Anybody know what that is? The lady came in and said, Kaidan Bandes, Kaidan Bandes.
イベントガイド。
Kaidan Ban. Some of you know the words kaiten zushi. It's the same kai
Going around.
going around. Mawadu.
Tadan is one of the many characters for looking or seeing something, I think.
And ban is board. In this case, as in message board.
There we go.
So going around message board.
The Jingle Bell lady? She did have bells or keys or something jingling.
She probably just opened the front door, right?
Yeah.
In the kimono shop next door.
Must be. Should I take one of all of these and go to Kakigoya?
Kakyo's not there yet, I don't think, but it's a little early on that. But you can just dump it on their front door if you want. Same as it was on her front door last night.
Ah, that makes sense, yeah.
There might be stuff about Sanja Matsuri that might be notices, I'm not sure.
Is this newspaper? Well, not really newspaper, but...
Yeah, you get one. Don't you get one of those at home from your own community?
No.
What?
Nothing.
Do you subscribe to a physical newspaper?
No.
No, okay, that's what happens. I know they have usually, I don't know your town, but the town where I lived in Ome, they delegate that to the newspaper companies.
Ah, okay.
The city prints it, and the newspaper companies deliver it together with their own newspapers.
Got
For
it.
people who actually get a physical newspaper. I guess nowadays they must be looking for a different system.
Yeah. This one... It's weird. So one of them has many copies of the same thing, so we take one of those
Yeah,
for
of course,
ourselves.
and pass it around.
But this one has one copy of many different things.
So you read it, and
just
make
read
sure
the
you
whole
take
thing.
notice and
Yeah,
just
okay.
pass it around. It's the, what do you call it, the mobile, not mobile, what's it? The community notice board.
Yeah.
I still on the camera? I can't see what the...
You're migrating a little bit, but you're still on the camera. Oh, cool. Then Kanban makes sense. I guess it's a Japanese word. What is Kanban? I know it means a sign, but I'm wondering what they're referencing.
I don't know. What's the con on Kanban? I don't know. Broadcast? I'm sure. I don't know. I'm guessing.
I'd have to
Ask
look it
contact.
up. Yeah.
Kanban is sign. We have a Kanban out the front of our building.
Yeah.
This is Kairanban. You know, ban obviously comes from board, because then if you think about the Edo time, there was a signboard just at the end of each street or
Yeah.
block of houses or whatever, and they post the messages on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, year when there were no newspapers and stuff, you know, of course, it's a message board. The reason there's two of them there, one is from the Chonaikai, the thing that used to be called Tonari Gumi. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
decades ago, nobody calls it that now.
Yeah.
It's now called Chonaikai, a neighborhood association.
Right.
And one of them is from the Shotengai, the Merchants Association.
Makes sense. Apparently in project management they talk about a Kanban to get an overview of what needs to be done. That may be different kanji than the one that I used. Alright.
I think so. I
Yeah.
don't know. You mean project management, as in like the Toyota
major
special
businesses,
system or whatever?
yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. I have to see one almost every day. I said,
What's the word? Kanban?
yeah, that's what I was saying.
Well, ban would be the same, I think. The
Yeah.
board message going around. The con could be a different con, I think. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I'm not familiar with
Scheduling
it.
system for just-in-time production, apparently. That's the second type. And looks like it's usually written in katakana.
My guess is that that's a different con.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Interesting. And you've got... Let's see. People are asking show and tell, show and tell, show and
Soka,
tell.
Soka. What time is it?
9/11.
Oh, 9/11. Let's do a show and tell. Hey, is that a good time for show and tell? Yes, we got some good stuff. Good stuff. These are not things to be selling in the shop. These are things that we're going to be keeping.
Another one in project management. I'm sure you've heard of Kaizen. That's another Japanese thing.
Is that the same kai then? I'm sorry, I don't know these words.
No, it's
so-
not different.
I've heard the words, but I don't know the derivation. So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, these are two auction packages. So I opened one of them and saw, oh my god! And then I realized I shouldn't open it. I should open it on the
Oh,
street. So
that'd
one
be
I
an
opened last
unboxing.
night, and the second one I haven't opened yet. So
I'm going to zoom out a little bit on that.
oh, of course.
Oh, you
Sorry.
got it.
Sorry. Gotcha. Come on. So I opened this last night before I realized I should have saved it for opening on the stream. So I peeked inside. I know what's in there.
But they don't.
They don't. I know I was chatting with them on the stream a bit earlier how I managed to get these. It's 4 separate auctions, and they started at, some of them were 1,000 yen, 1,000 yen, 2,000 yen, 2,000 yen. And he had described it poorly. He didn't know what they were, and we've talked about this before. There's certain magical keywords that I've learned. When people see things that they think might be woodblock print, they don't know what to call it. There's certain words that they
make
type
up
in.
something.
Yeah, and I have that in as a reserved search word, and it
Yeah.
comes up every few weeks. It keeps coming up.
Yeah.
And nobody else sees this, nobody else gets them, so almost always I scoop the stuff at opening price.
Yeah.
And what they are, these are surimono. The original, nobody said mokuhanga in
Right.
the Edo time.
Right.
It was surimono, meaning printed stuff, printed matter, literally, the word we use now for printed matter. And that's what these are. And they came from the collection. The same guy who put these up for auction had a bunch of books of Japanese poetry, haiku. He must have got them from somebody who's died and the kids dumped this granddad's stuff out on the street or whatever. And they're all books with collections of haiku poetry, thousands and thousands and thousands of poems just written. So the guy was a member from a group that did poetry and passed them around. And so some of you now who know about Japanese prints, you know where this is going. These are surimono with poetry inside. And some of them are in good condition and some of them are in bad condition. And let's have a look at what they are here. Let's start with the one of the worst. This has been eaten up, it's moth-eaten, it's worm-eaten, I mean, whatever.
Are those postage stamps? Those samurai pictures? Yes, they are right here. They're miniature.
It's
Yeah,
Sharak, they're not samurai, they're kabuki actors.
dressed up as samurai.
In fact, when we're finished, we can put these in this, we have a stamp box here to give
Yeah.
away. We keep postage stamps, put them in a box on the counter, and people can help themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, this is going to open and open and open. And I'm not.
And the bugs had a
100%
feast.
I'm not 100% sure what this one actually is. I meant that. I'm going to get my friend Doyson when he gets here. And this, I think, actually, is some kind of program. I said the other one was haiku poetry. This is not haiku poetry. This is some kind of program for some kind of event. And it could be some sort of massive concert where item 1, item 2, item 3, and looking at it, it could be, I don't know, it's some kind of theatrical stuff where each little thing has a title and the people doing it. And it's Meiji 27. And it's not a single date, it's Meiji 27, starting on the 25th and going to the 27th.
It's a rock festival.
So it's something that happened over a period of 3 days. It was either repeated again and again and again for 3 days, or it took 3 days to do it. And again, I'm showing my ignorance here because I never studied these things before we put them up on this show and tell. But it's some kind of program. Dave's frantically looking for things he can recognize that might give him a key to what this all is. But what you're seeing is it's woodblock carved, woodblock printed. There's an introductory message from somebody, which is so faint I can't even read it. And there's a beautiful picture here done from Chinese calligraphy. There's the famous long-tailed turtles, which are a symbol of longevity.
Yeah.
We have ume up at the top, and what's that up there?
Tsuru, maybe? I can't tell. Upside down and...
I have no idea.
But I'm seeing, I think the neck is
crane
wrapped
up
around.
there.
And
It's a
here
crane in the
there's
sky.
a hint of red on the head as well. So I think it may be a tsuru, but with its head kind of up and then aiming down, feeding a baby. Is there a chick in there?
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
sorry,
there's
my
a-
brain is trying to figure out what it is. Yeah, a chick, a little tiny.
Yeah, there's
I get
some
you.
chicks, I think.
There's little.
It's a mother bird
It is.
feeding.
Okay, I got you. It's a mother tsuru looking down with 2 babies. It's a nest. The dad's coming in. That's a.
Oh, they can't see it at all. It's totally washed out. Maybe the flash light they're suggesting?
All right.
Or I'll zoom in so that they can see.
Yeah, if you go do your cameraman job, sorry. Are we far enough away from the light that it's okay? There's the tsuru
there's the flying one.
in. And yeah, it's a mother bird looking down and 2 baby birds up looking for food. Peep, 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 peep. So, and down at the bottom of the image, we have the long-tailed.
Still further out.
Still fine. Sorry.
There it is.
Still fine. The long-tailed turtles here. And this is all wood block done in imitation of Chinese brush painting. Jeff, you stay there. If I just move it across then the body of the thing is reams and reams of reams. It's got to be a title of titles and then subtitles and then names of people. And it just goes on as a zoom out, I guess. Carving.
Wow. Lots and lots of text.
Yeah, and the amount of carving is just insane. It's all woodblock printed. It's on really super thick deluxe paper with no sizing. Unsized paper. So.
Why would they elect not to size paper, do you think?
You didn't need it. For some, like it's just for there's no deep, rich color. It's just imitation of brush painting. So bunch. And I don't know where we are on the camera, but there's a date over here. We are date, and it's Meiji 27, and it's the 5th month, and it says from the 25th day to the 27th day. So some kind of event. And I'm sorry to be a little bit dense here, not knowing what it is. We'll have a study. We'll have a look later on. For now, it's just a first look of something we picked up on an auction for 1,000 yen, maybe 2,000 yen, I don't remember.
Well, they use the old 20 kanji. It doesn't really get used much anymore.
Yeah, it's easier carving it that way, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's one item. What else have we got here? Am I visible, Cameron?
Yep,
It's just
I
up
went
there,
wide
so-
again
so-
so I can see the big picture.
This is cool. That's the back side, actually. Here's the front side. And again, without having a chance to see this and investigate it, it could be from a poetry group, the announcement or something. These could be collections of poems. I'm not sure. This could be, no, it's a written text, I think. These are not poems. Do you see a date there, Cameron-san? Yes. We have
Showa
Showa
Kyū
9. Showa 9. What's that? I don't understand. No idea. Anyway, Showa 9. What's Showa 9? 1919 or something? Or no?
Yeah.
No, 1920.
20,
No, not that old.
24?
I'm Showa 26, which is 1951. So 16, 19, 20. It's 17 years older than me.
Yeah.
1951. So 41, 1934. 1930. So some kind of announcement or something would happen in 1934. And do you see the Karazuri?
Yeah, I need to zoom in on that though, because that's really, really nice.
And what we're seeing is, I don't know the name for this thing. It's one of those things that Shinto priests use
Right.
when they're blessing something. They've got a stick with all this long white and a string hair paper on top of it, and they shake it over and bless things. And this, I'm not sure, could be a tobacco pouch. It was obviously lacquered. It was printed with metal pigments, and it's now totally oxidized.
Oh, yeah.
And this looks like a kaki to show.
Mm-hmm.
And we have our mouse, so it must be the year. Showa 9 must have been a year thereat, I think.
Yeah.
I don't really know. So. And again, sorry for my ignorance. I haven't studied any of this yet, what this actually is. We'll get a bit to read of it, but this is how things were done back in that era. You got a special announcement to make to your little group, call a woodblock workshop, and have a beautiful woodblock print announcement made. And you can see, am I on the camera? Mm-hmm. You'd see the guy, whenever the beginning of the event, someone would stand up, Minasan, blah, 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 and you read it like an announcement. So. Woodblock prints. Let's quickly get through. There's two more. I haven't seen them since, oh, look at this.
What are kakis? Kaki are persimmons, and yes,
persimmon.
they're only in Japan.
Like,
They're all
this
over
is so
Asia.
faint. Oh my God, I can't even read this. Is
Wow.
there a date? I don't see a date here, Cameron, unless it's so
Worn out.
no, it's so
Stylized.
stylized that I can't read it. I don't think there's a date there.
This isn't Ichi. No.
I
don't know what
No,
could be-
no.
That
I'm
looks
not-
like the he, but
I
it
know,
wouldn't
but I'm not
start
getting a
on
date. No.
for the he, no.
Look at the delicacy of that carving. Oh, give me a break, man. Look at the delicacy of that carving.
It's really close.
It's
there.
all, there's my finger for scale. It's carved and printed with such super delicacy.
Wow.
Come on. Come on. And these would be short run things, This is not something that was published and put in a shop for selling.
Right.
It's the announcement for some group. Shiba-san, hi, good morning. Audrey-san からメール見ました?
はい、見ました。
は
数
い
ですかね。
はい。
残念ながら。
残念なんだから。
And there's one more, and this one is curious. This looks like it might be something to do with a single family event, like a woman's getting married or something. And again, I don't know what's going on here. I've zoomed out enough. First, let's get an overview of it. But again, this looks like, like some kind of an announcement deal. And this is actually, what they've done is they have passed this on to a workshop to be made, and they've hired a real artist. This is Yoshi Yoshi Mine, who's a third rank, Yoshitoshi, disciple or apprentice or whatever. And it's got Shomen Zuri, it's got this, the whole frame is lacquered in Shomen Zuri.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And this is a production. This is a production. And again, all I've seen so far is the JPEG on the auction site, so I haven't had a chance to look at this in detail. I can't see, again, any quick date on this either, so. Do you see one from where your angle, Cameron? I don't see one, no. And I don't know, it could be an announcement of a marriage. Maybe it looks like the lady,
Shiba-san might be able to help us out.
we've got a scene, there's something to do with marriage here.
Yeah.
It's the father, maybe the announcement is being made or she's being, I don't know what it is, so. Again, wood block print. And the calligraphy again is a super, super, insanely delicate level of carving on these things. So it's been sitting in somebody's drawer for it's late Meiji or early Showa, maybe Taisho, I don't know. This one's older, I think this is late Meiji. If it's Yoshimine, it's late Meiji for sure. And the level of production and carving are just beyond belief. But again, it's on this thick Hosho paper. Lots of embossing. She's got makeup on her eyes.
Wow. Yeah. John says, is it possible that they had just had stock images and added the calligraphy for individual jobs? That they
This
had
one I would guess
illustrated
99% no. I can't say no to the idea that some of these companies could have had, yes, a stock image in a right-hand corner, and some of the advertising ones are done.
Our Meiji Block Party prints, many of those were...
No, that's from magazines.
Oh, those
that's
are
from
magazines.
magazines.
Okay, that's different.
And in fact, a show and tell tomorrow or the day after, we've got one of those.
Oh, okay, great.
I scored the magazine last night, paid for it last night, so it'll be coming in a few days.
Excellent.
I don't have the matching blocks, but we can see how they worked.
Yeah. Cool.
So that's a different story. So no, I can't. There would have been some maybe in a generic form that might have had a little image you put in one corner and you've got your own poetry. But this one, no. The way these are integrated, there's no way would that be the case. So some group or family or whatever has commissioned this print.
Yeah.
Commissioned the entire design, construction, carving, message, and to have just a few copies given out to people who would have had some interest in this.
Ken asks, how could people afford this? What do you suppose this would cost in that area?
A fortune, an absolute fortune.
Okay.
I mean, I can't, whatever, how much level, of course, this has the dozens of blocks, top level carver, you've hired a name brand artist.
Yeah. Can't say at the moment.
Whatever, we did that a few years ago, right? Remember, a guy hired Jed to do a wedding announcement. He sent the sketch, Jed did the design, sent it over to us. We actually did this, it was before we had these Saksa shops, so we had time to do this.
Wow.
I carved it, we printed it, and it was just 100 copies for the guests. And it was over $10,000. And it was a small, little postcard-sized thing.
Wow.
And it was nowhere near as complicated as all this poetry and stuff. It was just a single postcard-sized print, like we do for our Hunger Con. It was 10 grand.
Yeah.
Well, Jed took a bunch of that for the design fee because he's a brand name artist.
Yeah.
So yeah, this would be a very wealthy family or a group who had wealthy patrons and stuff.
Yeah.
It was a big deal. Because remember, they were the only way to get printing done in that era was woodblock color printing.
Shutter. It's kind of like Shutterstock. Oh no, Shutterblock.
Well, in this case, no. This was a single one-off
design,
design production. So anyway, I'm sorry for a half information. I don't know the complete story of what all these are. At the moment, all I can just show you is this is the kind of stuff that did exist back in those days. I've got hundreds of these things now.
Yeah.
And they're waiting to be looked at and cataloged and figured out and translated.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen in the short term. But as I said, at least we're preserving them, getting them into one place where they can be seen and enjoyed. And as time goes by, what is this? Oh, I know what this is. This is a different kind of deal. This is now, I scored it, Karen, this was 700 yen.
700 yen? Oh man, you're spending all our money.
Again, nobody knew what it was, nobody recognized it, nobody knew what was going on. This is the kind of thing that John mentioned, where you would have a pre-printed item and that somebody would then use. So part of what we're about to see is a woodblock printed, pre-printed stuff that somebody would buy. Somebody bought it and then they used, it's letter paper.
Oh, okay.
It's woodblock printed letter paper that somebody turned into a letter. And again, this would, let me just try and find it. Where's the front, where's the back? Again, all I've seen so far is the Yahoo auction image. Let's try and find what's the start and what's the finish. It's
the stationery?
It's pre-printed stationery that somebody has then used to write a letter or announcement or something. And again, I haven't seen this. And what you're seeing here, the part that you're seeing, the color stuff in the background is woodblock print. The big black lettering is drawn by hand on top of the woodblock print. And it may be a personal letter to somebody. It may be, again, one of those group announcements. And it's long. It goes on and on and on. And it is a couple of meters long. And I wonder.
Couple of meters
It's
long.
a couple of meters long, but it's also extremely delicate. So I'm really not sure. Are we on the bigger camera over there? If I get that out of the way, can we see from over there? I'm not sure if I can hold this up because it's pretty delicate.
Could we put it on the ground, or is that too risky?
Well, let's just try, don't we? So here we go. And it's one wood block print. And there's a glue line, where it's glued to the next wood block print, which is glued to the next wood block print. So it seems there's 3, 4 of them, 5 of them. I don't know where this is going. Wow. And again, I got to be careful with this because it's pretty fragile. It looks like 5 prints. So, and there's no date at the end. Dun, da, dun, da, da. And nothing is going to tell us when, where, why, who, why, what, how. Wow. And I said, as I was gassing at the beginning, I said, I think this is pre-printed stationery, but it could be, or it could be something that these people have made up themselves. They've purchased 5 woodblock prints. It's a Heian era theme, something to do. What have we got here? There's a. Oh, here we do have a.
We're not conservative with their space. Put 4 characters on each column.
Oh yeah, like this. Yeah. Again, I'm sorry not to be able to read this. I'm just we're showing first level stage 1 stuff we just received. It's either a letter or announcement or whatever. Curious too, the woodblock prints, the last ones are printed just green and red. They're 2 colors, like a Sumi Zurie. Not Sumi Zurie, Benny Zurie. And that was really common. This actually, now that I'm looking at this could be quite old actually. The level of printing we have here is certainly Edo era type printing. This is not modern
Modern letter.
as in Meiji or something. This could be an old thing.
Yeah, it looks like the number of blocks decreases with each print.
Yes, it
this
does.
one's only
There's
3 or 4
multicolour in the
colors.
beginning. Yes. And that's what makes me think it might be a commercially printed product. It's like a book where you buy the frontispiece is in color and the rest is in black and white.
Right.
So this could have been, again, I'm just guessing, it could have been a pre-printed product that's in the shop. You can see them now in the stationery shop now. There is pre-printed stuff with light, delicate images on the back. You get a cherry blossom image in the spring, and you do your handwritten letter on top of it.
Yeah.
So first guess for me, a pre-printed product that was in the stationery stores, somebody has purchased it, calculated their letter to fit just to the end of it.
Yeah.
But there's no signature at the end and there's no date at the end. Which means it may not be a letter, it may be somebody, for example, just doing a calligraphy exercise.
Yeah.
It could be a famous poem or something, and they've done it in calligraphy using this paper. If it was a letter going to somebody, there would be a signature and there would be a date at the end. We don't see that here at all.
It's a first draft of the Gettysburg Address. In Japanese.
And again, you're asking, why don't I just read it? Well, Cameron and I can read various characters. We can see Yo, we can see Naka, we can see this and that.
Yeah.
But we cannot read the hentai gana here.
Yeah.
A calligrapher could see it. Even if we ask Shiba-san, I won't embarrass her because she won't be able to read it either. So
Yeah. Probably a few more characters than us, but the whole thing, no.
no, you have to be a calligrapher or somebody who has studied the old writing to be able to read this. I'm sorry. Just neither Cameron and I are at that level.
Yep. That's true.
But I don't know, whatever. Let's get somebody who can read it, and once we read it, that will give us a huge clue as to what this actually is and what's going on.
Yeah.
So having opened it and having looked at it, my guess is somebody has bought commercially printed dressy paper used for writing letters or presentation things. And they've taken this home and they have practiced on an empty sheet of paper to get the layout ready, to get the sizing ready, to get the dimensions. They counted characters so that it would start at the start and it would finish right bang at the end.
The last spots in the last column.
Yeah. And then they have spent really nice time because it's carefully drawn calligraphy. This is not
There's no
slapped out
backspace
stuff.
either.
This is really carefully done. This is a nice, showy presentation item. It's done with a wooden backing. 700 yen. Nobody else wanted it.
Yeah.
It's of interest to us because of the woodblock prints. That's all I can tell you at the moment about what we got here.
How much would woodblock stationery like this cost?
You mean back then or
Back
now? I mean,
then?
now it doesn't
No.
exist, and back then, I'm sorry, I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I don't know.
700, yeah. Is the
I
answer.
mean, this is something that would have been of interest and of use to somebody who is a high class. You know, this is not something for every plebe living in the back street tenements.
Yeah.
And this is something that would have been of interest to
Yeah.
I can't just say rich family, but we're talking about, you know, elegant, higher class people.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But what number, how much would it have cost? I'm sorry, I have no idea
Yeah.
what to say. There's no records of such things at all. The woodblock here is not stunningly gorgeous woodblock. There's a little bit of misregistration here. These are not high quality pigments that have been used. It's really not high quality stuff, but again, considering what it was aimed for, it's cheap, very thin, cheap paper.
Yeah.
Because the purpose of the paper here is aimed not so much for the woodblock printer's end of it. The paper has been chosen for
the
the
calligrapher,
calligrapher's end
yeah.
of it. So it's more like a Chinese thin gasenshi, which is one reason why the registration is pretty poor here. It's also cheap pigments.
Yeah. You're saying the palettes, the color
So,
choices are really
it's
unusual.
really cheap. It's cheap, dirty pigments. This is not high class woodblock printing
Hmm.
at all. At all.
Interesting.
In fact, just a minute, there's one thought here. This may not be printed. This may be, let me get my glasses out here. The coloring here, no, it's printed. The blossoms are printed. I was thinking out loud, the coloring may be painted on, but no, it's actually printed. You can see the edge of the shape.
Yeah.
I was just thinking out loud there. The whole thing may have been printed with only a couple of colors like the back ones. And the person, before they did their calligraphy, they may have painted in some colors here. But no, cancel that thought. They are actually printed. You can see the cut outline of the edges.
Yeah.
That looked a bit like a gradation here to show brush printed gradation. That one looks brush printed too, but no, you can see the sharp edge. It's printed, and the cherry blossoms, absolutely printed.
Yeah.
They have tamari around the edge. So I don't know. As again, with what I mentioned before, when we were talking about in the middle of the stream about something, when you've only got one copy of something, it's sometimes very difficult to figure out how it was made or whatever, what was going on. But if you've got more than one copy of something, like we were talking about the Yoshida print, the one you sold yesterday.
Right.
Somebody's asking me, the background texture, was that curved or done as Gomaziri?
Yeah.
And if you've got more than one copy, you can see if the dots line up and they're the
Right.
same or not. When you've only got one copy of something, how much was carved and printed, how much was thrown on by hand, it's difficult to tell.
Got it.
This person has fixed this, look underneath. This person has fixed this. They've drawn the character once and then gone back and touched it up with their brush because there's deeper black in the middle.
Huh.
This was really carefully done. This was not just bang, 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 bang. Somebody's gone, oops, let's just touch that up a little bit. So this is done for careful presentation.
Yeah.
Next step is to read it, figure out a bit more about what it is. But for now, it's just going in the box to be in the collection.
Very cool.
Very nice. Apologies again for not knowing more about what these things are, but if you want to do the show and tell opening as we get the stuff, then that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
There's things I can clearly understand from the beginning, and things I can't. Hey, nice, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Good.
Very cool. Freeze the paper while it's wet, someone's asking. Yes, that's how you do it. So that it stays moist, then it thaws for a little bit before you start printing again. How long do you usually have to thaw it?
It depends how much there is, and if they've
Okay.
stacked it up like a brick,
Yeah.
I got to get that out of there. Ishikawa-san's careful. They know sometimes I forget, so they sort of spread it around in their pack
So it's
that after it's up.
thin
But
block of
if
ice.
it's summer or if it's winter, it takes different time.
Okay.
Whatever. If it's a thick brick of paper, a couple of hours
Yeah.
before. I take my shower at 6 o'clock, bring the paper out. They come around 9.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's happy, except on days when I forget.
Forgot.
We must be overtime.
Yep,
Cameron's
we are
under
slight,
overtime.
a little bit overtime, so
Okay,
we'll get out of
what's
it.
the schedule here? Today's Wednesday. Tomorrow I will be back here on this block or the next block in the series. There will be some persuading happening tomorrow. Bring your earplugs
Yeah.
for the next few days. This is what I'll be doing, carving here. There might be a bit of show and tell too during the rest of this week.
All right.
Sign us off. Let's get out of here. I am going to have a busy day. We're short-staffed, 3 parties. Oh!
Lots going on. All right. See you later.